I'm Tyler Blakely from Oklahoma City. I spin a lot of stuff, point and double stabs in the mains. I like juggling. I like bartending and joking. I like long walks on beaches. My flow and music content's usually through Instagram more so, and that's at Tyler Spins Fire, all one word. Geez, I think it was like right at the end of 2016. I got into like poi at a festival, and I bought a pair there and like didn't really spin much. And it wasn't until a couple months later I kind of had like my mind blown and had a new chapter launch and got way into it and just obsessed over it for a few years straight. I'd see people spin, and at that time it was all like just straight magic. I had like no understanding of like what anyone was doing. It was just like the lights were off and I couldn't see, and just like was really confused. Thought it was really cool, but I think really I had a specific like click where I was just I was getting to a point where I was like, felt like I was maybe kind of wasting my time doing all these festivals, and I was just partying a bunch and wasn't going anywhere. I'd kind of decided like this particular festival might be my last one, and I just remember having a moment watching somebody spin, and they were just doing so good, and I had this whole like change of heart about things. I was like, yeah, this whole festival culture is really what you make it, and it's like you don't just have to like lay on the ground and be enamored by all the cool things around you and go home and blow your money and change nothing. It's like you can really take that inspiration and do stuff with it. And so that's like, it was big for me in like lots of art mediums, but flow arts were the one that directly applied to festivals. So it's cool to like take acid and have profound notions about the future, but it's like, are you doing anything to like create that future? And it's like, no, like you should go to college and like get a real job and make your parents happy, because this is a big dream that like isn't gonna work. And something as little as someone just spinning poi, but it was just like, it was the freedom of expression. It was like the true, like they're actually like in charge of their body and their reality right now, and they're like completely in the driver's seat. And like that's what it really represented and what I wasn't doing. And so it's like poi is just one of a million ways to like be present and to like engage with yourself. Flow state is like, you know, I guess there's like a technical definition like in a psychology book, but that's not really as fun. For me, it's this feeling of familiarity that's like familiar like only once I'm there. It's like I don't remember it sort of a state until it's happening. I'm like, it like really brings like almost like brings a smile to my face. I always feel my breath change. And it's like, it really is like a high kind of a feeling. And I don't know, it seems to be some balance of thoughtlessness and like engagement. For me, it feels like little sit downs with my like higher self or something, and it's like demonstrating for me like my potential. And it's like if I shut up and like let it, then it'll really like blow my mind and makes me want to, you know, like take that engagement outside of a flow state or outside of like a one-off really fun experience that you got to tap into. It's like you can be like that all the time, don't forget. Like, I'm a pretty cynical guy, so flow arts has really sweetened me up a lot. It's one of the best communities I've ever been a part of. The most like authentic people. The flow arts world has been just extremely welcoming and extremely like healthy for me. There's a lot of room for liberal expression and for everyone to be who they want to be and do whatever the hell. Like there's not as many rules, but like I still feel guided into a path of righteousness without pressure, which is really dope. Something I think I really needed in my life. Flow arts in general has been a profound like, it's not the first creative thing I've ever done. Like I've played guitar and stuff for a long time, but like flow, it's like I've leveled up a lot in learning how I like to learn, or like learning how to teach myself. Everything that I've applied it to in my life, it really just holds true. It's just 1 + 1 = 2. It's like you give a shit, you do something from your heart, and the result is lovely, and like keep going. I've been playing music since I was young, and I love music so much, and I never really danced before I was into flow arts. I thought dancing was really cool, but like some skill I didn't possess. Would just see dancers and be like, that's sick, like that feels so good, like what a hot shot. At flow arts kind of delivered a whole like, I saw the ingredients to dance or something, and I was like, okay, like I can work with this at least, you know? Like music gets me excited to dance. Dancing makes me appreciate music more. It's not even that I always spin to music, but it's definitely what inspires my flow. Like there's music in my head when there's not music playing, so it's like the cadence and rhythm of my flow is already like drilled into every song I've ever heard and written and everything else, so it's just like there's a natural rhythm of everything. It's like creativity inspires creativity, music inspires flow. Yeah, passion is what is the inspiration. That's truly the case. Like music is the most like readily one of my favorite mediums to pull for that passion dose, but like that's really what it is. Like on the deepest root of that question of like what inspires my flow, like I'd like to say like love or something. It's like the same thing that inspires my breath and anything else. It's like my flow, what happens with the props and what happens with inside of me is all a culmination of like my thoughts, my feelings, the thoughts and feelings of the people in the room with me, the history of the location perhaps. Like everything is all so intertwined, And it's just like, I was like, oh, hey, let me pick up my pool and get a read on this spot. Like, you know, it's just like, like, how are the vibes right now? And you're like, oh, they're lit. Like, it's like, I don't know what inspires it. It's just, it's that thing that's everywhere all the time that I am, that you are. Like, other people will compliment me in saying that like they don't know what's coming next, or that it's really like just like mesmerizing or something. And those are all sweet things to say. But I always joke that I'm just like, you never know what's coming next, because like I don't finish frameworks. I try to find some loose in between like thinking and not thinking, and intention and muscle memory. So it's like, I'm just like doing whatever the hell I always do, and then I'll find myself in some like random, like I'll have that brief second where I'm like, oh, hey, my hands are here, but I'm not doing that other thing where my hands are here. Why don't I do that thing then? I could, because from here I could do that. Oh, and hey, when I'm here, I could actually, and it's just like bam, 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 and like, it's like, I basically will just do whatever I'm already doing until like the squirrel in my brain is just like, 8-step caps. Like, I'm just like, okay. It's like pirouette, invert. And like, I don't know, it's just like, it's goofy, it's very fun. And like, to me, it feels, it's like, it makes it thrilling kind of a feel. It's like a chase, and like a big, like how long can I keep this like improv session rolling without, but if I'm thinking about it, if I'm choreographing, if I'm like, don't repeat anything, then I lose it all. It's like, I'd rather just like repeat and do whatever, work out the kinks naturally and just like let it happen. Like sporadic and wonky. Wiggly. I like look back with some pride. I was really obsessed. It was crazy how much time I put in. I used to like wake up every morning and I would like smoke and drink coffee. Usually just like take dabs and brew like a French press, and just like I had a big room with a big mirror, and I would like, I'd spend for like 3 or 4 hours, like usually before doing anything else that day. It was really fun to miss it. I didn't have any strict rules. I knew people that did, that were like really disciplined with their training. I've tried really hard to only ever spin for fun. The older I get and the more things I try, the more I value like not soiling the funness of a medium by like doing it when you don't feel like it, or doing it to impress someone, or doing it 'cause they want you to, or they're paying you, or whatever the hell. I always felt that I didn't really ever practice to get better type of thing. I mean, there's very few frameworks that I can recall over the years that I like went out of my way to like go get. It's like they did not come to me whatsoever. I used to make fun of a lot of tech frameworks that I thought were lame until like they just naturally found their way to me, and then I'm like, shit, I'm gonna have to learn that. Like 8-step caps with 8-step caps in general, those like were totally unintuitive to me. I just went really out of my way to drill and watch videos in slow motion. And it's like the patience that went into that was really like kind of astounding looking back. I'm like, wow, I was geeking out. Everyone's just got their different approaches to things, obviously, but I try to like talk people out of that guilt of like, it's like, hey dude, like you don't have to have some regimented thing, or like you don't have to do it like the next guy or anything else. It's like, in fact, like you shouldn't do it any way you don't want to do it. And if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like you don't have to do this. Everyone started releasing pod mods, and I tried Flow on Fires. And I think that was literally what started it. I really liked a lot of the people that they sponsored. I went to more festivals that year. I met like Austin, Witherspoon, and Connor and all them at Kinetic, and just like really loved the camaraderie and everything. And I was like, I really want to be in this group, man. Like that would be so sick. I want to like, and so I just started, honestly, just really bugging the shit out of Britt, sweetheart, for putting up with me. I was just like hitting her up every time I'd go to a festival, like, so could I sell poi for you? Like, I'm gonna be at this festival teaching, and I'm gonna tell everyone about you anyways, but like, you know, finally made it a thing. So, and I love Flow on Fire so much. Just like over the years, it's really awesome. They've continued to be more than just something that like young me ran to because of a shiny toy. It's like, no, there's a wholesome underlying quality there. They're awesome. They have a sweetness. They just have a sweetness that you don't see in every company, and it's not required or anything. That's fine. At the time, they felt sort of underdog. They're so popular now. They're like really in the main set of things, but there was something cool about feeling like I was supporting like the smaller company or something. I don't know. I've just always been drawn to them. Really sweet people, make really dope props, and everyone I knew who was associated with them was just like awesome. Really, really nice and exciting and skilled. Before I was ever involved with the community, it's easy to put everyone on pedestals and think it's this big cool kid club and you're not a part of it, you're not a celebrity, you're not on the show. It's just not like that at all, and so I'm really glad that I put myself out there. I love that we have any sort of a backdoor association to each other to just cut those nerves out. You see each other at a festival and you're like, yo, you're on Flow on Fire, and everyone would just immediately hug, and it was like, we don't know each other, but like, we're both into that, brought together here. It's like, then you're the homie, like, cool. It's just like a nice icebreaker thing, and it's just also, of course, just introduced me to really dope people. I'm like very thankful for it. In terms of my involvement with the community, I feel a little lacking, you know. Pandemic, I'm trying to be easy on myself. I think pandemic threw a lot of people for loops. A lot of people are rusty, haven't been doing stuff. But a lot of people, you know, totally ran with it and dug even harder, which is awesome. This has been my first like foray back into the world. So like current contributions to the community are, you know, I'm here teaching, I guess there's that. I'm hoping to just get like swept right back up off my feet. I mean, this really is like a happy place for me. So I hope to have like a long lasting relationship with the flow arts community and to just like, it's such a beautiful like resource and happy haven for so many people. Keeping that fire burning is important to me. Shouts out to the Texas community in general. That was my biggest foray into flow arts and like exploded my involvement. Shout out to my very good friends Kelsey and Jeremy Philo for bringing me to Flowstorm and like introducing me to the culture in a way that I never knew outside of just like raves and BS like stuff in the city. Ashley Galliford was really critical. I met her at my first Flow Festival and she was one of those people that I had on that celebrity place in my mind, and she just like immediately was like, oh my gosh, like do you want, like, can I hug you? And just extremely welcoming, immediately taught me stuff, made me feel like we were already friends. And that really inspired me like on how to treat other people as I got years and years into it. And I would have people recognize me from the internet that I don't know and they feel embarrassed about that. And I'm just like, that is the coolest thing ever. Like, what's your name? Let's get to know each other. Like, do not put yourself in my shadow. That's so stupid. And so big props to her for that and all the Poitech. She's just a sweetheart and that meant a lot to me. Connor has inspired my flow a ton. We spin really similar. I was joking with him last night that you have my flow just better. He's like, I was gonna say you have my flow but slower. I was like, shut up, you're better. God, there's so many people, man. That's like, shout out to all the super sweet, inspiring people that I've met traveling, just even on the internet. I don't know. Shout out to everyone who gives a fuck and keeps it going, because like, that's what it's about.